Hey, my name is Callum, and I'm making a 3D arcade game about delivering boxes as fast as possible in a massive warehouse run by pigs. My last devlog, I added loads of polish to the game, but I think there's room for far more improvement and specifically more variation. So, for the past week, I've worked hard to add several boxes, props, and even a new way to make my levels. I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm very excited with how much better it looks now. The first thing to work on is a new way to spawn in boxes. The entire game is about throwing boxes into the chute, so I need a simple way to control boxes for later balancing and level design. The spawning system doesn't need to be complicated. All I really need is a way to select a position, then select a box. The code is super easy. We'll use Godot's built-in tool functionality. A tool script in Godot is just code that runs inside the editor as well as inside the game. With only a little bit of bug fixing, we have it working. I sure hope this tool script doesn't have unintended consequences later. But the system barely helps since there's only 3 boxes. I need to make more. I did the modeling, UV mapping, texturing, and had a new L-shaped box for the game. Then I mixed things up and did modeling, texturing, UV mapping, more texturing, and had a new thin box for the game. And then disaster struck. The whole point of tool scripts is that they run inside the editor, and in my haste, I forgot about the ready function. The point of a ready function is that it runs when the script is ready. If I place it on a box in a scene, then it won't run on the main menu or as it's loading in the scene. It'll only run once the scene is fully loaded. But tool scripts work inside the editor, not inside the scene. So after I added these spawners to all the levels, once I close and reopen them, the ready function was called. Now, the code I wrote spawns in the specified box, moves it under a different node, and then it self-deletes. My intention was for this to only happen when the level is loaded, but instead, once I clicked back into the project after some modeling, all the levels instantly wiped. Wait, oh my gosh. But luckily, GitHub exists, and it's a lifesaver. If you're not familiar with GitHub, it's basically just a way to back up your code in case something disastrous happens. I made a new commit very recently, so it was as simple as dragging in old files and briefly editing the code, so when I reloaded the project, nothing broke. Then inside the editor, I just repurposed an old signal to use instead of the ready function. Another part of my game that really needs variety is the environment. Currently there's just the boxes, traffic cones, and pallet racks. It's pretty empty. So I started once again the familiar rhythm of modeling, UV mapping, texturing, and worked on a big crate for the game and an industrial fan. But then I noticed something. While looking for examples of industrial fans, I found this picture here. What really caught my attention was the name Big Ass Fans. I thought it was a joke stock image at first. But after a quick search, I found their main website and all their contact information. They were in fact real. They also had a Twitter account, and I happen to have one too. But after seeing all this, I felt inspired, and I decided to go where no game dev has gone before, and I tried to talk to someone. I started writing out a heartfelt message about why I should be allowed to use their logos and name in my game. And I'll just have to be patient and wait for a reply. Maybe they'll get back to me later, who knows. But back to the modeling, UV wrapping, texturing, and adding to the game. Wait, what is that? It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's wonderful. It's a window. Ironically, as a game dev, I don't play many games. But if it's not work, school, or game dev, I love to play Outlast Trials with my friends. Without getting into the details, it's pretty similar to Amazon. But instead of being a minimum wage employee, you're just kidnapped off the street, and instead of moving boxes, you're tortured and sent through trials for scientists to watch. But playing the game gave me the idea of replicating it a bit. Not the torture, just the window. So I loaded some screenshots, did some modeling, created some textures, and added it to the game. You get the idea by now. But wait, they responded! After 2 days of waiting, they got back to me and said they talked to their lawyers. And then they said it was fine. They asked for pictures in my email so they could send over all the needed assets. But while we wait on that email, here's the completed windows in the game. Now, with all these new assets, I need to add them to the previous levels and make one final level to complete this first warehouse set. But the email went through! Okay, that's enough confetti. After I got access to the logos, which I received explicit permission to use, by the way, I added them to the fan and checked out how they looked. The brand actually said yes. Look at this. Dude, that's so funny. They actually just let me do this. That's awesome. And with that, I just playtested all my levels again. I made some minor tweaks here and there, but it was largely fine, and I was super happy with all the improvements. And that was about 2 weeks of work on my game. I want to thank you all for watching. You can like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and let me know any suggestions you have. I'll read all the comments.